All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all the peeps from the cult, all the wonderful peeps from the cult, we are back at the Amateur League Tournament, weekly tournament. I believe it's 157th. It's taking place on 26th of April of 2026. The world is going mad, but we are still playing StarCraft 2 tournament. That's what it is. And we are looking at the quarterfinals from in the upper bracket, and you are looking at the main base of Freedom House, SmiteSteelUA. A Protoss player in the blue colors here on the left top corner on the 10,000 feet, and he is playing against Zent Balimko, who is playing Zerg pieces in the yellow color here on the bottom right corner. And very interesting map pool. They were throwing out all the regular maps, and we are gonna have definitely really cool game on Celestial Enclave. The next one, we'll see how that will go. But now let's see what's up with this one. Usually the Zerg, I would see me as a Zerg going for some cheesy 12 pull and trying to break the Protoss player on this map, and I have actually done that against SmiteSteel himself, and that was me being matched up against him like in the first time. That was like a couple of weeks ago. Basically the first map was something I don't remember what, but we did the proxy hatch and killed his pylon, and then the second map was 10,000 feet, and we did kill his pylon with pulling the drones and mining through the minerals over here with the links, and the GG was called basically. There was nothing much to do. Anyways, enough about me, more about the game. So SmiteSteelUA is opening with a pylon, gateway, cyber nexus, second pylon on top. So his first unit is gonna be Stalker, to be dealing with the Overlord Scout. The probe is still on patrol. Basically it's patrolling on the third base expansion possible positions, and Balimko is going for that. Meanwhile, tech of choice for the Protoss player is going to be Stargate, so he is going for his beloved Oracles, Stalkers, and possibly Colossi, so it's gonna be interesting how Balimko is going to deal with. I have figured out that this Zent, I don't know what is the real full name, Zenit, or what is the full name, but that I believe is community from Hungary, and I seen a lot of big players and also some little players, by little I mean Balimko, joining in the same community, which is awesome, and it's like more like from the country, from the heart, you know. It's very interesting approach there for these guys. Anyways, yeah, the Overlord is sitting on top here. There is another one. What is the second building? Oh, it's a gateway. It's two more gateways joining in. There is a probe waiting for something. There is a couple of Overlords spread. One over here, one over here, one over here, and one over here, giving some circle of vision. Not gonna be hitting the Oracles, but I don't see no Spore yet. It's a 4-minute mark, yeah, Balimko is actually going for a Roach Warren right now. The Oracle is traveling through the map. There is one queen per base, except the third. Here comes the Oracle. The queen is shooing it away. It actually doesn't commit for workers. That the Spore Crawler starts only now, and that's a couple of drones already going down, but that Oracle is dead. It's 3 drones. I don't think it was worth it. Mineral wise yes, but the gas wise answer is no. Actually, yeah, the Protoss player did lose the Adept also along the way, but the transition is going to be for this Fleet Beacon. And there is actually Void Ray being built, which means that SmiteSteel might actually go for Air Toss. It could be Tempests, it could be Tempest, it could be Carriers. We will see about that. Sorry for a little bit. I need to get the noise here a little bit down. That's nice. So there are a couple of void rays being built. No suspicion so far. The roach speed is being made. Evolution chamber is here. There is a macro hatchery being built, and the third base is a little bit saturated and will get fully saturated. There are a couple of roaches, queens, and actually hydras. So Balimko is choosing to go for roach hydra path. He will check for the third base with the zerglings over here. So he will find out that there is no third base. Maybe no, there will be third base, yeah, but it's gonna be super late third base, I would say. So that should be suspicious. The void rays have killed it, and there is actually carrier being built, and the Stargate number 2 also is joining in. Now, did the Balimko see? No, the Balimko did lose both overlords, which were close to the Protoss base over here. So yeah, the Zerglayer is blind right now. He's going for +1, he's going for Hydra speed and range, and yeah, even second evolution chamber, interesting enough. Maybe the fourth will be dropped down soon, and he will try to max out with a full roach Hydra force over here. If there will be 4, maybe 6 carriers out, it might be too painful, I would say. Yeah, the Protoss player is going for +1 air. He's only getting Twilight Council right now, one of the buildings. So this would be the case where out of the scouting information, the Protoss should be going for charge upgrade, making charge lots and carriers, and that should be good enough to hold this push in the end. Only case that can win the game for the Zerg here if he goes for a lot more Hydras than it's usually meant into like this perfect army composition, which should be like 16 Hydras and then rest of it is the roaches. And the question also is what's gonna be the push, the timing push. Is it going to be the +1? I don't see it. And there is a lot more Hydras joining in. The fourth is being built. Yeah, the game is passive right now, but there is infestation pit being thrown down. The +2 has been started. There are 2 void rays, 2 carriers. 2 more carriers are joining in. One is going to pop out soon, and the charge is being researched. Okay, the roaches and hydras are revealing themselves. The army supply is in favor of Balimko right now. He has 90 army supply, but now the carriers are spotted with the void rays. The void ray is targeting down the hydras unsuccessfully. The shield batteries are working pretty fine. Yeah, all the hydras have been cleared up. There is nothing left to deal with this force, unfortunately, and the roaches are running back home as soon as possible. And there is 1 more carrier out and 2 more carriers joining in. What is the response from Balimko? He's making a spire and he is droning up his 4th base as soon as possible. Still counting on +2 range. He's going for hydras right now. He needs hive. Yes, hive is started. So basically he's he can try to loco maneuver. The charge has finished for the Protoss player, and the +2 has started. Also the 4th base on the back of this. The loco maneuver, oh, it's actually 3 starports now pushing out the 3 carriers at a time. So loco maneuver basically is whenever you are dropping the toxic cloud on the opposing carrier and then running your army under it, including all the hydras and everything, and then basically the opponent's interceptors themselves are just flying in the toxic cloud, which is AoE damage, spell damage from the Viper. Balimko is poking in, trying to get as much, do as much damage and distraction as possible with the hydras and roaches. I think his trades might not be efficient, at least in my experience they never are. He's losing quite a bit of resources, and if If he provokes too much of the Protoss, then Protoss might come over the map, and that's what he's not willing to have right now. He's having less army supply but more efficient units. Now what the Corruptors are gonna do, yep, they managed to snipe down one of the carriers. The Void Ray goes down, but I think that's gonna be it, unfortunately, here. Yeah, no shot, mate, no shot. Yeah, the units are trickling in from the Zerg player over here, but he's not able to get rid of more than one carrier over here. The Corruptor is fighting himself. The Lings are going for backstab runby, but there are charge lots and batteries, and that's gonna be third base going down. The Natural is under attack. Yeah, there's a couple of Queens, which is pretty good, but no units coming from this base or from this base cannot join in the whole army, which is painful right now for the Zerg player. So I would call this definitely a GG's. The question is, what is the plan for Balimko? Well, he finished his hive. I don't think he did build... Yeah, he didn't build the Viper. He didn't gather up the units. I believe his provoking attack was the nail in the coffin here. He's going for one more Hail Mary, but that's not gonna happen. He's calling GG, and Smite still takes map number 1. Let's jump into game number 2. Alrighty then, welcome back to the Quaterfinals, game number 2 between these two guys, and you're looking at the main base of Zent Bali, also known as Balimko, who is playing Zerg pieces in the yellow color here on the right top corner of Celestial Enclave. Excuse me about that. A burpee in between the introduction, and he is facing the Protoss player, well-known Protoss player from Freedom House. It's SmiteSteelUA playing a blue colored pieces on the left bottom corner. He took the first map with a pretty obvious transition into Aertos, and yeah, for me it seemed like Balimko did know how to react but didn't execute. I can super hard relate to that kind of stuff, and it's quite like a 1 in 1,000 moment when you execute some counter to that kind of stuff. Well, basically I believe that Balimko might have like gone a little bit too fast, provoked SmiteSteel to actually come for him, since he didn't show that he's transitioning into units, and while he was actually getting a hive and everything. So one Viper could have changed the game quite a bit if it was done correctly, but yeah, it is what it is. We are on Celestial Enclave. We are I would say in Protoss favored map, because it's 2.5 bases for the Protoss for free just by walling off this, and if he fully walls off this ramp, then he opens and he basically has 3.5 bases for his own you know, freedom to use freely whatever he needs. Anyways, it's pylon into gateway, into nexus, into cybercore, or whatever the sequence, double gases, and the pylon. The tech of choice is going to end up over here, and first unit this time is going to be Adept, is being chrono boosted right now. Well, the probe is running around. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of proxy shenanigans happening here. Meanwhile, Balimko is actually going for pretty fast Roach Warren. That is looking like somewhat of a 9 Roach push. But it's not gonna be that, it's gonna be 4 Roaches. I don't think he saw the probe with the proxy. He checked out with the Lings what's up with the situation. It's from 1 gas. Actually, meanwhile, yeah, the tech of choice is robotics facility here from Protoss player, and he's sending out the Adept, shading out. There is Stalker here for defense, for the diving. Overlords, and this might be just a gateway, yeah, just to have faster weapons. Might be 2 base Allen, who knows. Well, it's definitely 8 roaches on the on the production tab here from the Balimko. And yeah, he has just revealed them to the shading adept. The adept is being recalled, so it's full defense mode right now for the SmiteSteel. He's going for Immortal. The second tech of choice is going to be Twilight Council. There's going to be a couple of pylons joining in, so he's leaving out the vulnerability for the one pylon to shut down his attack. A couple of Stalkers and Immortal should be doing really good with this push, but we'll see. Yep, the Zerg player has successfully killed off the Stalker. The battery has no energy. The Nexus has no energy. The army is poking through right now, through the door. There is nothing here. There is one Stalker, one Zealot, one Immortal. They are trying to kite out the roaches. The Stalker gone down. Now it's the probes tanking and the Immortal dishing out the damage. A couple of Zealots are being warped in. Yeah, well, SmiteSteel has lost 12 workers, I would say, but the Immortal is still alive. The gate is being held by the couple of Zealots. Couple of Zealots and Stalker, but yeah, the pressure looks too strong. The pressure looks too strong. The Immortal is going to go down. Oh, the energy got... the Nexus got enough energy to recharge the battery, but the Immortal has gone down. And the Lings are in, basically striking through the units. The income is big enough, but the production is too little. It's only 2 gateways right now here for the SmiteSteel to be able to deal with this. There is, yeah, still some units doing the job. The probe is actually doing as much damage as possible. The second Immortal is being started, but the gateways have been lost basically at the bottom of the map. There is a couple more gateways now coming into proxy area, so as the warp gate has been finished, the warpings can happen, but you need one more pylon, my friend. Definitely one more pylon here, otherwise it's gonna be really dangerous. Well, the Immortal has finished, I believe, and the push has been held really unsuccessfully, I would say, by losing 12 probes, but just some couple of pylons, nothing much actually painful. Well, what is the transition from the Zerg player is the question. Well, the lair has finished, the Hydra then is on the way, the pocket base is being taken, couple of roaches are joining in, and some roaches are being made into Ravagers. Well, the income wise, the Zerg player is ahead. He's still going to take the third base, not the pocket. The pocket technically is the third, but it's only half. This is technically third then. So it's 3.5 bases, but the worker amount is not growing here for Zerg. Zerg is growing more units right now. The pylon is being taken to retake the production at the bottom. The charge is being chrono boosted, and the observer is going to be used to see what kind of units is going to be facing on the opposite side. Looks like there will be pylon for a full Wolof, and probing has not actually returned. The Lings have been made to try to snipe down this proxy. The proxy has been revealed. Basically the charge is almost finished, so those Lings are in grave danger. Well, Balimko has a lot of roaches force. He's mixing in some Hydras. He has roach speed coming. He has also Hydra range on the way. This base will be not finished. Did he cancel or did he lose it? He did lose it. He didn't cancel it. He was too busy microing his units at the home base. Well, the charge bolts are pretty strong, but if you can hold them in this kind of choke position, you might be actually in advantageous position, letting those Hydras dash out the damage, and that is indeed has happened, and the push has been halted. GG is called, and Balimko takes game number 2. We are jumping into game number 3, which will be the Deciders match. Alrighty then. Welcome back to the game number 3 in this quarterfinals, in the best of 3 in the upper bracket. where these guys will gonna decide who is gonna continue to play in the upper bracket and the other one is gonna fall to the lower bracket. So all comes out basically on how this game ends, and you're looking at the main base of SmiteSteelUA, who is I believe from the Ukraine, right? Yeah, he's from Ukraine and he's part of the Freedom House community, and he's playing Protoss in the blue colored pieces on the right top corner, and he is playing against a well-known Zent Balimko, or in this case Bali, but technically he's also known as Balimko, and he's playing Zerg pieces in the yellow color here on the bottom left corner on the White Rabbit ladder edition. Yeah, it's the Deciders match. So far everything else is as per freaking usual. We have Pylon into Gateway, going probably for the Cybercore Nexus or Nexus Cybercore, whatever the sequence is. Meanwhile, Balimko is opening hatch first into the pool. The probe is scouting out and patrolling around the main base of the Zerg player, stolen the minerals to be a little bit annoyance happens, and the patrolling happens. Further than that, yep, the natural is gone, the cybernetics is gone up. Nothing weird about this. The pylon number 2 for the Protoss player goes into main base, where the building of tech of choice is going to go up. That's what I call it. Basically that usually is telling what kind of path the Protoss player is going to go, and that's very important. If it's a target, it's gonna be oracles with air harassment or maybe void rays into charge lots. You can read different kinds of builds, whatever, so you can, if you scout it with like overlords and sneak them in and yada yada everything, you can figure out what's actually happening. Balimko is actually going for pretty quick third hatchery over here, making some links and getting speed. That probe is going to go down. The queens are going for double inject. No creep spread unfortunately here. That could help. The creep spread could help to transition the units faster between the third and the natural, but that is not the case. Balimko sends out links to fight. There is actually a robotics facility being built here from the SmiteSteelUA, so that is the tech of choice, which opens up the Immortals. Basically Immortals and War Prism, which could be like 2 base Allen-ish situation, where it could be Twilight Council coming up somewhere after this, and then it would be like either Blinks or Charge or maybe even Glaives, which means that basically our army is going to be consistent of the gateway units. But that was a sloppy play here from the Stalker. The Stalker is opening up the gate to the 3 Zerglings, and Zerglings are getting into main base and they are getting direct information what exactly Protoss player is on to, and yeah, it sees all 5 gates, robotics bay, and yeah, the assumption could be there will be no third base, and that's going to be 2 base Allen. So Balimko needs to throw down the gases and get the Roach Warren up, which he is doing, and get ready for that. He has spores here, maybe in expectation of Dark Templar, maybe? Could be, but yeah, it doesn't look like. There are 2 sentries, so there will be 2-3 Immortals, and a lot of gateway units, probably Stalkers and Zealots with a War Prism. Maybe on back of it, it's like 2 base Allen kind of situation. And yeah, Balimko is equipping his gases, getting his stuff up, freeing his own supply with more, like 5 more overlords. Definitely he needs more than that. Actually, interesting choice. So Protoss player decides to go for a robotics bay, which is basically to get disruptors or colossi or both. It allows that exactly. Well, there is War Prism being made, so it could be a follow-up maybe from the Protoss side of things. So definitely Balimko clears out the information that there is indeed no third. He's actually going for lair, which is a bit risky, I would say. He's making 2 Ravagers. So suggested number would be 3 Ravagers actually for the Zerg player, because that is how many Ravagers you need, or 3 Biles is what you need to get rid of the War Prism. So if you get lucky and you snipe the War Prism, you can actually just snipe it down, you know, while it's standing somewhere around wherever it's placed to reinforce, make reinforcing units for the Protoss player. But maybe that is not the plan in this case, because the Protoss player is going for extended thermal lance. There are 3 more gates coming with some pylons, so it could be actually 2 Immortal juggling into Colossi, or it could be 2 base push with Colossi, who knows. Anyways, the response right now for Balimko is going to be Roach speed, which is really good. That is good advantage for him. He's actually making Illusion Chamber. He's not droning, he's just making more and more units, which is the right call, because the opponent doesn't have extra bases. But yeah, the roaches themselves are not good to trade against immortals and stalkers, so the Ravagers are really good choice in this kind of situation. But the Colossi, it will have extra range, so it's not gonna be that easy. And there's actually going to be multiple Colossi here from this Protoss player coming out, which is making it even more scarier. Well, the Protoss is thinking about taking a third, but there are a couple of lings already waiting for that. Well, there are lings everywhere basically placed on the bases, so to deny that kind of possibility from Protoss player. The +1 range has been started. Well, roaches with +1 and speed could be quite dangerous. Well, technically Protoss is seeing everything with this observer. Balimko unfortunately hasn't noticed that such observer is there, but he definitely has built quite a bit of units. His army supply, though, even though is lesser, no, he's bigger actually. It's the workers which are lesser than the Protoss player. There are actually sentries with energy, and Balimko actually is going to push the front gate. He's gonna shut down the cybernetics core, which is really good. That is one of the key buildings. So less stalkers are actually capable of being produced. So there are Ravagers. Meanwhile, on the back of it, we have Hydra then being built. And yeah, the Balimko is planning to actually poke the front gate over here. Well, in this kind of situation, the question is, what should the Zerg do? He sees that there is a lot of robo units and everything. My guess would be actually building... he is giving a little bit of dronage to the third base. My guess would be actually building a Spire and mixing in a lot of mutas, if possible, when possible. But that's not gonna be the right choice in this case. Balimko is going for +2, he's making more Ravagers, more Roaches, but this army definitely is coming for him right now, and that's 3 Colossi, 2 Immortals with some sentries, a lot of Stalkers out there. So this is really strong force against Roach only. Powerball. The fight is not gonna be positive. The energy of sentries are going off, which is pretty good. The reinforcements are being warped in at the side here. Yeah, Balimko can bile down the force fields if he wants to. So he could free up his units, but biles take time to fly down, right? It's not as straightforward as it seems. So the trades are going back and forth. That was really lucky bile there, I believe, or really good one, definitely, that got one of the sentries down. So the sentries are running out of energy and everything. Oh, there's actually 1 or 2 or 3 of them. So that could be decent. Nice biles. That bile did get down the observer, reducing the range of the Protoss units. The +2 is not finished, so I would say that Balimko needs to still hold himself back. For some reason the movement command was happening for the Roaches, so he lost a lot of those Ravagers there. for free. There's a couple of sentries being warped in. I think, yeah, he lost a couple of Ravagers for free, and that was the nail in the coffin actually for him. He didn't actually manage to, he doesn't have enough army to rebuild it. That is really nice biles. That is not a good micro here from the Protoss player, but he loses one immortal for it. Those biles did land on one immortal, but yeah, that's 14 workers. The third base is down. The roaches still being whatchamacallit, move commanded basically, or yeah, move commanded in. This was a really bad placement for War Prism. That was really bad placement for War Prism, right on top of the Spore, and the Spore takes down the War Prism. That is cutting the reinforcements off of the Protoss and giving a little bit of breathing room for the Zerg player over here, which has the +2 finished, and could be actually getting back that army which he's losing. Meanwhile, the Protoss player is building another War Prism on the back of it. Here comes the Zerg player trying to bile down the backing up route, but yeah, the army supply right now has definitely dipped really low here, and the Protoss units are just stronger now. He's cutting off the distance mining from the Zerg player, and yeah, that could be it. GG Scald, and yeah, SmiteSteel takes quarterfinals and moves up to the semifinals, where he's going to be facing Zero. Meanwhile, Balimko is falling to the lower bracket, and I think he's gonna be playing Lauren, and then he still has a chance to come back in this. But yeah, that's it.